welcome Yingjie and Patrick. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and allow them to get started with the presentation.
Thank you, Barbara.
Getting there.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Yingjie Liu. I'm Instructional Designer at San Jose State University.
And I'm Patrick Dempsey, as introduced as Teaching Specialist at Johns Hopkins Carey Business School.
So we are super excited for the opportunity to share our study with you today. So I'm a certified QM facilitator in APPQMR and IYOC, both online and face-to-face format. And I'm also a peer reviewer as well. So I get a chance to work with our wonderful faculty before their QM training, during their QM training, and after their QM training. So we find that even the most experienced online instructors can find themselves overwhelmed after the QM training. So they wonder what they should do after the QM training. So as an instructional designer, I want to understand what are their biggest challenges as we are so committed to help our wonderful faculty to redesign their courses and make it a successful learning experience for our students. So Patrick and I conducted this study. We are exploring the challenges and best practices in terms of how to scaffold faculty's development after the QM training and when they begin redesign their courses using QM. So in the spirit of Valentine's Day, we hope this study could also help everyone to better understand how to build effective relationships between faculty and instructional designers. So we will share our two studies to talk about the relationship from both perspectives. So we will share our results from 102 faculty from California University System, and also on the opposite side, we will also have 112 instructional designers across US. I know it's gonna happen. So they will talk about, we will share the finding regarding what's working and what's not working from instructional designer perspective as well. So we will talk about what a faculty really want in their relationship with instructional designers and what do instructional designers think is working and not working when they work with faculty in course redesign process. So we will have both perspectives, and in the end, hope we can have a greater understanding of the strengths and opportunities that we have so we can work together more effectively. So before we start our phone presentation, we would really love to learn about our audience. If you can answer these two poll questions really quick, that would be wonderful. So the first question is, what is your role?
It's almost ready. I'm just waiting. We're almost at 100%. I'm just trying to see how close we get, and then I'll launch it out. You guys probably don't see that on your end. That's why I said that. So just a second.
Yeah. Thank you, Rico. Oh, great. So we have a great variety of roles from our audience today. We have faculty, we have instructional designer, we have administrator, and we have other important roles as well. So that's awesome because we would like to share message and insights with all of you. And we would also like to ask you the second poll question. So how do you QM? We would like to learn about how many QM trainings have you taken and what's your level of QM experiences.
So same thing, give me about 30 seconds as I watch the count go up, and then I'll share it once we get close to 100%.
Wonderful. Thank you, Rico. Great. We have a lot of different roles represented here, a good variety of experiences. So we got some beginners and we got some wonderful experts. That's cool.
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing with us. So first, let's share the faculty side of the study. First, I want to give a quick shout out to my wonderful CSU folks. Thank you very much for your support on this study. So we had some pretty interesting results from our 102 CSU faculty, those who had taken at least one QM trainings before. If you're interested to learn more about CSU QM program, we will post this URL here. So you can check out what type of training offered by our Chancellor Office and what's going on each campuses. And I also know our Chancellor Office, the hero behind the scene, Ashley and Brad, they might be in the audience as well. So if you have any specific questions, I'm sure they will be able to help you. So with the research question in mind, we want to understand what challenges do faculty face after completing their QM training. So we ask them questions about their perceptions of instructional design, their QM standards. So we ask them specific questions about how interested are you in redesigning your course with QM standard? How ready are you to redesign your course using QM? What are your biggest challenges to implement QM into your course? And how likely are you to seek support for redesigning your course using QM standard? And how important are the QM standards to you, and how much support you need for each of those standards? So let's see what we found out. So we had some pretty interesting and significant findings between two groups. We are not sure what we're going to find, but we are very excited when we see the finding. So those faculty who completed one and those faculty who completed two or more QM trainings. So the first finding regarding the difference in their interest and readiness in redesigning their courses using QM standards. So we can see that after one training, they are really interested. 62% of them saying that they are interested in redesigning their course with QM, and 54% of them saying that they are ready. But look at how much more so after the second or more training. So nearly 80% of them saying that they are very and extremely very interested, and they are very and extremely very ready to redesign course using QM. So that's pretty awesome. So with more QM training, faculty become more interested and more ready. But what are their biggest challenges? So we would like to ask you the question, what do you think would be the faculty's biggest challenges implementing QM standard into their course? If you could type your answer in the chat, that would be wonderful. Okay, time.
Time.
Mm-hmm. Time.
Okay, that's a good one. Resources.
Yeah, accessibility.
Support, that's come up a few times.
Yeah.
Support. Arrogance, that was a good one. Consistency, knowledge.
And time.
Experience, trust. Getting to a lot of these, we'll hit on a lot of these ideas.
Yeah.
Culture shock. People want money, not getting paid more. Awesome.
Okay.
That's a lot of great answers. Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your insights. So let's see what we found. Oh yeah, time. Big time. So we asked this open-ended question about the challenge they have. We did content analysis, and it revealed time come up most often. So well, like you just shared in the chat, time is one of the top challenges that faculty have. So again, if you look at the division between faculty who took one and faculty who took two or plus trainings, so 40% of the faculty who have done one training reported that time would be a big factor. And faculty who took two or more, they said 60% of them saying that time would be the biggest factor. So the idea that they are having perhaps a greater understanding of the QM standards and feeling, okay, I'm ready to do this thing. And then it's a reality that, wow, it's a huge undertaking. I just don't have the time. So that presents challenges, but on the other hand, it presents opportunities because we are always trying to engage with faculty in their course redesign process. So we ask how likely that our faculty would like to seek help because they want to do it, they're interested in doing it, they feel like they are ready to do it, but they realize time is a big challenge to do it. So they want to get help, and they want to get help from us. So again, on the right hand, when we ask how likely are you to seek support redesigning a course, 72% of the faculty who took one QM training and 90% of the faculty who took 2+ training saying that they want to get help from us. So that's amazing. So if you take 2 or more training, 9 out of 10 faculty are going to want to get help from us. So let's pause for a second. That's a magic number, 9 out of 10. So if you can get 9 out of 10 faculty saying that, yes, I'm going to get support. So that's what we as instructional designer always trying to do, how to get faculty to start working with us. So they are pretty exciting to do this. And we have the problem of engaging faculty and the problem to have faculty buy-in. So not anymore, because they are ready to get help and we could work with them in significant ways. So that's pretty awesome. So what we have learned so far, let's pause just for a quick second. I will let you read and reflect. So with more QM training, our faculty are more interested in course redesign and they are more ready. And the more they see time as their biggest challenge, and they are more willing to seek help from us. But what sort of help do they really want? So what are the specific things they want help with? So on the right hand, you will see the findings from the 2 questions we asked them. We asked them how important are these specific QM standards to them? And at the same time, how likely are they gonna seek help on those elements? So it's very important for us to understand that the item they think are important might not necessarily be the things they want help with. So if we look at the graphic on the right hand, I want to, so again, this is just overall reporting, not difference between the groups. So we rank the results. I want to direct your attention to 3 areas. And we have all the standards from QM standard, but we also specifically separate course activities and learner interactions because we want to see if faculty also perceive those as different things. So the first area we want to take a look is very fascinating finding about learning objectives. So faculty see learning objective as important, but it's not what faculty want. It's the least item, the least help they want from you. So this should make us really reconsider our approaches. As instructional designers, how many times we start our conversation with our faculty? And the conversation starts with learning objectives. So, but our faculty are not interested in even going there. So on the other hand, if we take a look at the technology and accessibility, so we see that technology and accessibilities are seen as least important item, but they are the things faculty want the most help with. So at this point, we should really pause and consider, is what we are offering to faculty the things faculty really want? If not, perhaps we need to reconsider our approach, because it's also the key to any effective relationship. The thing you think are important to them might not be necessarily the thing they want, right? Okay, so so to this point, let's recap what we have learned so far. So we learned that the more QM training faculty receive, the more they are interested and more ready to redesign their courses with QM. But the more they realize that time will limit their ability to do so. So in turn, we see that they are more likely to seek help redesigning the course. But however, the things they want help with are technical, accessibility, and usability. So as instructional designer, we will, oh well, but that's not what instructional designers do, right? But well, we want to say, maybe that's not we as instructional designer want to do, but it's certainly something we know how to do, and it's something faculty want us to do most. So we prepare this very simple framework to help us understand what's going on here. So we want to make sense from all this. So we understand instructional design at least will contain these three areas: certain amount of content knowledge, design knowledge, and of course, to make it all happen through course technologies. And I am a big believer of the philosophy seeing faculty as instructional designers, because our ultimate goal of QM training and with all our instructional design work with faculty is to scaffold our faculty, and eventually they will be able to successfully conduct their course redesign and hopefully independently later. So when we look at faculty as instructional designer, so after they had gone through their QM training, we know that our faculty, for sure, they are subject matter experts. They have very strong content knowledge. And after they had gone through QM training, so the design circle in large, they understand design principles. At the same time, they also understand the importance of technology in the course redesign process. But maybe at that moment, they are not so accustomed to using it yet. So this is a good representation of maybe how our skills are distributed. our instructional designer, as faculty, on the other hand, we have less content knowledge compared to faculty, but we have very strong design knowledge. At the same time, technology, maybe not as, sometimes maybe also as robust as our design knowledge, right? So it all makes sense. Faculty want technical help, especially as we consider that instructional designer, we have more strengths in those areas. And clearly, it's not even, it doesn't make sense. It's not our instructional designer do all the time, but we see again, after we show you the second study, you will see how all this fit together. So by offering technical support, we are able to build effective relationship with faculty after their QM training, and hopefully we'll unfold the opportunity to support their course redesign process with a full-scale QM. So we have heard the side story from faculty perspective, and now let's find out what instructional designers say about all this.
Awesome. So yeah, so now we'll see, this is what the faculty say they want. Is it worth giving faculty this type of support? So we turn to the instructional designers. We want to hear what their perspectives are and how do they line up. And so this study went to 112 instructional designers at over 30 universities throughout the US. And we asked questions about their perceptions of certain quality items, the quality of the courses, their ability to implement best practices, challenges associated with generating faculty buy-in, the strategies that instructional designers have found effective in working with faculty, and then the responsibilities, the actual job functions that instructional designers do, because it's such a broad umbrella term, and we know that all of us maybe have, or a good portion of us have that title, but actually end up doing different things. And how does that relate to the outcomes of the work we perform? So let's see what the instructional designers have to say about working with faculty. So the effective strategies. The open-ended response overwhelmingly in a content analysis was one-on-one consultations. This is the thing that instructional designers are saying work in trying to engage faculty in the process. So then when we get to just rankings, one-on-one consultations, 83% of instructional designers suggest that it's very or extremely effective in working with faculty. Troubleshooting, this more technical aspect, just helping them with those technical problems, 59% of instructional designers suggested that it's very or extremely effective, and just-in-time training. Again, so we have the faculty saying they want this help, this more technical help, and now we have instructional designers kind of supporting that and saying, this is actually the help that helps me work with faculty more effectively. So a third piece of data, I think, that kind of triangulates and puts this all together. We have the faculty on the one hand saying this is the help they want. We have instructional designers saying that I found this to be effective. And let's see what the actual work of the instructional designers do is related to the outcomes that they have. So on the left of this graphic, we have the instructional designer perceptions of certain things. So the instructional designer's perceived quality of the training they offer, the perceived quality of the courses. So this would be ranked on, very low to very high. Their ability to offer training. So this is their perceptions. And we ran some correlations between that and the actual job responsibilities of instructional designers. So how does the work that instructional designers do actually relate to the outcome of the work they do? For example, how does managing projects relate to the quality of training? So we go to these technical elements. And on the right-hand side, the three items that we described or identified as technical were consulting with faculty, troubleshooting with faculty, and developing technical training. And of course, we recognize consulting and troubleshooting from the strategies that the instructional designers already identified as being effective. And what we can see is that consulting with faculty, troubleshooting with faculty, and developing technical training all have positive effects on important items, the quality of courses. That's what we're all about, developing quality courses, the frequency of training, and just keep that in mind, the frequency of training, is positively affected by the amount of time that instructional designers spend developing technical training. Their ability to provide effective consultation. Even more importantly, the ability to implement best practices, the ability to conduct quality assurance is all related to these more technical one-on-one troubleshooting strategies. And if we tie this all together with perhaps even something more fascinating, is technical was the first thing faculty said they wanted, and accessibility was the second. And if we look at meeting accessibility requirements, the more time instructional designers spend meeting accessibility requirements, the more frequent they're able to offer training, the better they're able to implement best practices, the better the ability to conduct effective quality assurance. So that's pretty substantial. Maybe it's something that we don't want to do. Maybe it's something that we think someone else should do. But apparently, the more instructional designers do it, the higher their perceptions of are the outcome of their work. And if we put all of this together, the technical things and the accessibility aspects, we see that a lot of these important outcomes of instructional design are positively affected. Quality of courses increased, the frequency of training, ability to implement best practices. So again, these technical things seem to have a positive effect on the actual work. And I do, again, want to draw your attention specifically to the frequency of training, meeting accessibility requirements, and developing technical training, because both of those increase our ability to offer training more often. And we already saw from the first part of this presentation that the more training faculty have, the more interested they are, and the more likely they are to seek support from us. So let's try to put this all together. So we had this framework, basic functions of instructional designers, and we looked at the distribution of skill sets between instructional designers and faculty. And of course, we were identifying that, that faculty are going to have perhaps a slightly lower distribution of technology, and we're going to have less content as instructional designers, but we're going to have more technology. So when we overlay these, we see that the relationship is actually quite robust, as opposed to thinking of it that I do this and this is all I do and the faculty should be responsible for that. What if each of these elements are really standing as complements to one another? If this relationship is coming to, this is where the faculty needs the help, this is where I can offer the help, and we can, again, further expand the expertise of the faculty, have them take ownership of their courses, have them become more expert in design, and really enlarge their skill sets in each of those areas.
So the big takeaway today, because you are gonna try to learn this new word, so we understand that more QM training, more training, we are gonna generate more interest and more readiness from our faculty, and they will see more challenges, especially regarding time, and they are very eager, they are ready to seek our support. And they, on top of that, they really would like to have technical support.
And so we saw that technical support was positive. I saw some comments, we're not suggesting there's causation, but of course you're always telling a story with correlations. So the more technical support that we offer, the more we see just from the instructional designers themselves reporting, the more frequently they can offer technical training. And we already know from that first part of the study that the more training that the faculty were going through, the more interested and the more ready they were. And of course, that led to them seeing that there were more challenges. And then that led them to seeking more support. And the support they wanted was technical. And we know that the more technical support we provide, the more frequently we can provide training. So the cycle continues. Let me click.
Yeah, we will have another study to share with you in QM Denver conference. It's about how faculty's experiences as online students affect their course design choices. We will also share all our studies through this reviewed.us website.
So there was so much chat. There was so many questions. And I think we've left plenty of time to really have a discussion, which is what we wanted to do.
Okay, I've got a whole bunch of questions in the Q&A, and I'm just going to go through them in order, and then whoever needs to be the person to answer can do that. So the first one is, can you talk about how having an internal review process before courses go to QM review can work most effectively using instructional designers, faculty developers, etc.?
We don't have an internal review process. We do have some quality assurance, so I don't know that I can necessarily speak to that. I think we all understand the challenge of really doing an in-depth QM review and the amount of time and resources that it would really take. And I know that Yingjie, they have some things that they do as opposed to reviews. They try to seed the course creation process through some templates and things like that.
Yeah, so I think the internal review is just one step of the whole course design process. So on our campus, we also have a CSU system quality assurance program. So we team up our faculty with other QM faculty experts. So they will have a full program learning about best practices, and they will also have kind of like internal review in a safe environment, very collegial. At the same time, with instructional designers on the site, we will offer all the help they need. So I think internal review is just one step. It's just the other faculty's feedback and instructional designer support and the QM training all work together for them to get a successful, good quality course redesign product.
Okay, and I was just going to say that Melissa Poole from Quality Matters has seen a lot of different internal review processes, and I'm going to put the information on how to get in touch with her into the chat. The next question is, can you define QM trainings completed? How did you define that for your study?
So
this was just, that's all it said is how many QM courses have you completed, but there was a pre-selection because of the population, which Yingjie can talk about.
Yeah, so we get great help from our chancellor's office. They have the database of all the faculty who had QM training either from our chancellor's office system or from QM. So they also reach out the quality assurance program as well. So we have this data pool with chancellor's office help, and the faculty usually at least completed one QM training, maybe APPQMR, maybe IYOC, or maybe both. And some of them are peer reviewers as well. So that's how we get the participants.
Okay, this next question is related to that. The person said she's curious about what is considered a QM training for the CSU system. Are these specific QM delivered trainings, or did CSU have its own workshops that are unique to the system, cold, and incorporate QM elements into that?
I just posted the link again, but I'll let you talk about that.
Yeah, I think our chancellor's office have a QM manager, and each campus has QM facilitator. So we encourage our faculty to take online because some of them the online version might work better for them. So they can take online version of APPQMR or IYOC from our chancellor's office. So our QM manager and will team up with another facilitator usually to teach that workshop. And also on campus, that each campus will have their unique way, either face-to-face format, APPQMR, IYOC, or maybe other format, but it's all QM. Yeah, thank you, Brett. Yeah. So in the chat, Brett helped answer the question.
Okay, let's see. Here we go. Is this data based on a clear division between face-to-face training and pure online training?
No, it's all based on how many training they had taken.
Okay.
Thank you, Ashley. Thank you, Brett.
Great support from CS.
Yes.
That's awesome that they're answering some questions and giving some information in there. This person says at her university, instructional designers are assigned to work with faculty to revise courses, and they are expected by the administration to work with us. In other words, the faculty are. Is that not the case where you work?
Well, in the business school, we do, yes, it is a top-down kind of thing where faculty are assigned to work with instructional designers, and the extent of that and the authority and the ownership of courses is obviously probably one of the more challenging aspects. Who owns the course? What's the purpose of designing this course in the online setting or face-to-face? So while the online faculty are compelled to work with us, it's not necessarily the case either in on-site, and what they do after they leave, maybe we only notice when we're involved in the course for some reason.
Yeah, for our campus, we don't assign IDs to work with faculty. It's more like we encourage them to come in to work with us. And I know maybe my manager, Jennifer, is in the audience as well. So if if she has any insights, please share with us as well. So I think each campus is different, have their unique situation. Some are more organized. ID will be assigned to faculty, but some campus is different. It's more like you need to engage faculty in this whole process.
This question sort of goes in a little bit of a different direction on the same type of topic. How do you engage institutional leadership to hold faculty accountable to implement the QM training strategies and design techniques? Instructional designers cannot supervise or police faculty. We are resources and trainers, and we need leadership support to set the stage.
Yeah, so to take the second part of that first, if you check out revealed.us, we do have other portions of these studies that we did not highlight here, and you're exactly right. The participant is exactly right. We found that the biggest obstacle that instructional designers identify really have to do with ownership, they have to do with incentives, but behind all that, it has to do with how much the institution really has buy-in for instructional design and the importance of it in the creation of programs. I know we have challenges here, and we've tried to, and I think a lot of people have tried to, in other universities, create a quality assurance framework and try to get buy-in for that. So it allows us to, like you're saying, to not have to handhold, to not be checking, but to kind of preempt the design process with standards that we believe are effective and necessary. And for that, we use QM, we use OLC, we use community inquiry. And again, it's been a slow and steady progression of trying to convince people that the effectiveness of design really does affect student outcomes.
Okay, so this is a question from a little earlier on in the presentation. So the methodology was to rank these in order, right? Or were the faculty given an option to rank each item on a scale of 1 to 5, how much they wanted help in each individual category?
It was a scale for, I think we're talking about the importance of items.
Okay, and then someone asked if you can share your exact survey questions.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. If we are referring to the survey question, we ask them, how important are these course design elements to you? So we list all the elements and we ask them to rank from not at all important, slightly important, moderately important, very important, extremely important. So that's for that particular question.
Okay, and then someone had asked about if you could share your exact survey questions. I'm thinking she's interested in the entire survey.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Yeah, you can email anyone who wants to follow up with us can email from the revealed.us and we'll get back to you.
Okay, the next question, does this show faculty have a misguided view of instructional designers who are pedagogical experts and not necessarily technological experts?
It's one that we love to hear and talk about, and that's why we tried to give that framework, and maybe that question was posed before or after. Again, I don't want to delimit anyone's expertise in that kind of bifurcated way. Again, I think we were talking about relative distribution of skill sets as opposed to absolute, I'm the expert in this and you're the expert in that, and that's why we have the IT team or instructional technologists, whoever what your school might have. Because we have a greater, in most cases, proportion of skills in those areas, and we do want to have faculty working with us, we wanted to help us, again, reimagine perhaps that this more pragmatic approach, because I do have a little bit of a higher distribution in that one technical area, is worthwhile using that so that I can get to those pedagogical aspects. Again, the thing they want least help with, faculty, is learning objectives. We all want to get there. So if I show them this piece of software, if I help them troubleshoot this, can I have them trust me enough so that I can start working on their learning objectives? That's the thought process we hope will come out of this.
And also, even from our other studies, you will find out what type of technology instructional designer find out our faculty are interested in. For example, is video production, is collaboration. So that's all good topic for our instructional designers to think about when we open up the conversation. Maybe we start from there, because you keep in mind maybe that's something they want to learn first, rather than to worry about the learning objectives. So that's a way we could see it.
Okay, we had somebody ask the million-dollar question, how is the quality of the courses connected to student success? Is that mentioned in this study?
Yeah, it's mentioned in, it's published in the proceedings from the Ed Media this last year, and it really did set the background context for this study. And I don't have the references off the top of my head, but yes, the quality of courses has been linked significantly to student outcomes in courses.
I'm going to also put the website address for Quality Matters Research. We do have some information on course quality being connected to student success there, just depending on what people are specifically interested in. So I'll put that into the chat.
And Brett, coming through again, posting some stuff.
Our CSU folk rock.
Okay, let's see. The next question. So how specifically have your instructional designers changed their role? What are they doing differently?
Yingjie, do you want to go?
Could you repeat the question, Barbara?
Sure. how specifically have your instructional designers changed their role? What are they doing differently?
I can speak from my personal perspective. I usually, when I work with faculty, when they have asked me maybe other technical questions, I always kind of think about, oh, maybe after this we could look at your course and see what else we could make it better. And always start with learning objectives, because that's really something I'm so anxious to start with. But right now, I take it slow. I make sure they are very comfortable with the technology involved in their classroom. So like our audience even use the word trust. So we build the trust. And once they trust, you will be able to help them no matter what, even technical. They start to have more trust in your whole idea of redesign this course. And they will start to understand the language you're using, the QM language. They will understand how all this fit together. And sometimes I don't use the QM language as well, because it's not necessary for faculty to understand all the philosophy behind it. But if I could translate it in a technical language, it will help the faculty to see it from a different way. They say, oh yeah, I never thought about this. And it doesn't sound like so scary. It's a whole theoretical theory, framework, philosophy you're throwing to them. So I think not necessarily changing what you are doing, is just a perspective you see things, how you approach from different perspective.
Okay, did the study measure the quality of faculty-generated learning objectives? They don't want help, but do they need help?
Patrick, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, no, we did not ask about that. And again, I love this because we love giving these presentations on these different aspects of the study, because instructional designers do get so mad that faculty don't want help with learning objectives. And it really does force us, yes, pedagogical experts indeed, but do we want to limit ourselves? Do we want to actually work with these faculty? So do they need help? I mean, probably everyone can improve their learning objectives. In a lot of the cases, I think the challenge is faculty have been teaching for 20 years. They've found what they've been doing to be very effective. Now we're bringing in this information from learning sciences and they're really wary of it. And so I think that if we want to be effective, as we saw, the instructional designers reported it, the more technical stuff they do, the better their outcomes are. So I think it's okay to see a learning objective that's terrible and to know that you're going to get there the next time the course is offered, when right now you just want to help them, you know, put this tool in or make some learning activity a little bit more interactive with the students. I think those are the ways that the faculty are saying they want the help. Instructional designers are saying is actually the help that works engage faculty. And then we see those things again linked to positive outcomes in course design. So I think sometimes we just have to let those things go.
Okay, next question. Perhaps this is too broad or obvious, but what types of technical training do you think we are talking about? Use of the LMS, use of interactive tools, use of tools within the LMS? Are there other things?
You can go to reveal.us and see. I don't remember which specific study that's posted in, but we do have those results. And specifically the tools that faculty are interested in using, and also the tools that instructional designers have found faculty are interested in using.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly like what's the number one, but I think collaborative tools, video production,
Yep.
yeah, those
LMS.
are LMS. Yeah, those are top three.
Okay, this person says trivial question, and I think Patrick addressed it before, but what software are you using to make this presentation? And I know it's PowerPoint, but I think person's interested in a little bit more in depth.
This is not a trivial question. It's the only question that I want to have during presentations. That means it was effective. It was PowerPoint, all made from blank slides. And the internet is great for inspiration. Look how people are presenting data in other places. Type in 2018 infographics and get some inspiration. But it's all in PowerPoint. Entirely.
Okay. Yeah. That's great. Somehow I feel like I couldn't do the same. I have a nuts and bolts question. As an instructional designer, I typically guide faculty to create module learning objectives that align with formative assessments, as well as those for summative assessments. Is this common, or do most folks design with only summative assessments in mind?
I think this is a great question. Maybe we should also direct the question to our participants. We have so many wonderful ideas. I would also like to see what they think about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in my experience, as we get some answers coming, definitely we are designing for summative assessments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Depends on the learning objectives.
Okay, well, we'll see what a few more people have to share. In the meantime, as IDs, we constantly have to explain what we do and how it's not just technical support. Do you suggest weaving design, best, effective practices in the technical support we provide?
I think we, in our finding, one of the interesting finding is actually what we do doesn't doesn't matter if they understand what we do or not. So I think, Patrick, do you want to go back to the slide maybe?
Yeah, I think that's also not in this one, but the actual understanding, so there were some other questions there was no correlation between the understanding of what instructional designers do and any of our quality outcomes. But it was not in this presentation.
Okay, let's see. This person says the best designed course can be the worst course when delivered, depending on the instructor. How do you deal with course design versus course delivery?
I totally agree. I mean, it definitely depends on the instructor. I think that a well-designed course can cover up a lot of instructional problems, but I think in my work, I do work with faculty in the delivery of courses, but I don't think many IDs have that opportunity to actually be embedded in a course. I don't know if anyone else's experiences are different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I do think course design is important in order to have a successful delivery, but it's not because you have a good course design, you will definitely have good delivery.
And there is some research that says that if a course is designed poorly and students do poorly in it, they will blame the course design. And if a course is designed well and students do well in it, they will not see course design as anything that had anything to do with their success. Mm-hmm. So bad design leads to bad results.
Okay, the next question. Did you control for self-selection in those who took 2 or more QM trainings? In other words, could it be possible that the higher rates of positive responses in that population is deriving from trainees who are most interested and enthusiastic or had more support from the start, financial and otherwise, to take more than one course?
We did not control for that, and I think one difference that we see that's really important is in that time aspect, where I don't really see the control being at all influential of the results there when we clearly have, and those were all again statistically significant differences, so that there is that carries through in each of those categories, and we look at time and it carries through there, and likelihood to seek support, we see it carrying through there. So if interest and readiness just happen to be based on already having interest and readiness, then I wouldn't expect that the story would be as coherent as it ends up being, where the difference between 1 and 2 actually was in every single question that we asked.
Okay, this question asks, did you do a study to look into a correlation between quality of courses and learning outcomes? Can you point to some study we could share with faculty?
Not yet.
We didn't, no, but people have done that. Again, I think you did post your sources on that, Barbara.
Right, and in the follow-up email that we send next week, I can put in some more specifics rather than just the general website that we have for people to look for what they are particularly interested in. So I will include that. Okay, the next question: What will happen when faculty become so good at designing courses that they no longer need IDs? Do you think that ever will happen?
That's the ultimate goal. When you scaffold someone, you would love to see them could do it independently. So that's my ultimate goal for faculty to understand the whole process of the course design, so they could do it. But in reality, I don't think most of the faculty would be comfortable to do it. But as ID, we still, like the 3 areas of expertise, we still are the one who constantly to absorb the new knowledge and the new tools. So we could always offer new knowledge, new expertise to our faculty.
Okay, it looks like we're not going to get to all of our questions. I'll try to squeeze in a couple of more, and then I'll capture the rest of the questions and maybe send them out to Yingjie and Patrick, and we can provide some answers in our follow-up email next week. Here's a question: will you do this survey again?
Well, we are interested in collaborating with people that are also interested in expanding the scope of this study, or different aspects of it. Again, this was 2 different studies, which we presented just a small portion of the findings from them. But so definitely, again, if you're interested, I just put it in the chat, the revealed.us website. So we'd love to hear about your situation and if we could possibly work with you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my Zoom screen there looking for reveal.us. I'd just like to end by thanking Yingjie and Patrick for some really terrific information and sharing that. And we will follow up with everybody with some more information to answer your questions. We appreciate your time today, and thank you so much.
Thank you for everyone.
Thank you.
Patrick, next slide. I think there's a...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, next research webinar.